Hello YouTube and welcome back to The Theory Crafters, the show where we make observations and go way off script for stories. Speaking of observations, there's one enormous eye that seems to observe all within this quite special Minecraft mod that we are talking about today. This mod, dubbed The First City, was actually commissioned by the most subscribed YouTube channel MrBeast's for a video that never ended up releasing. Of course, I'm unsure why his video with this mod didn't end up releasing, but it was meant to compare $5 mods to $50,000 mods. Perhaps the developers didn't deliver quality enough to warrant video. Regardless, we are talking about that $50,000 mod today, developed by all these amazing people at Refresh Studios. While there is a lot of cool stuff within this singular mod, it is quite small compared to our previous series, so this will only be a one-off episode. Be sure to strap in, y'all. We're about to go deep and dark. In Minecraft, one of the most mysterious and eerie biomes is of course the deep dark biome, and this singular biome is the catalyst into entering the world we are going to talk about today. To move forward within the first city, we must first understand the ancient city. The ancient city in Minecraft is a bit ambiguous to say the least. A commonly accepted theory about the ancient city is that it was built far before the Skulk came and infected it. While this theory makes sense for the vanilla game, remember this is a mod we are talking about. With that said, I don't believe that would be the case for the world that Refresh Studios crafted here. You see, the main content of the mod is found behind the central portal-like structure of the ancient city, and for one to even reach that to begin with, they must slay the warden. With a name like Warden, it would appear that they are trying to guard something. While in vanilla, the warden likely guards the loot of the ancient city, here they may be guarding the portal. This key detail is quite interesting, as it supports the idea that the warden is trying to guard the entrance to the first city. I believe that the wardens built the ancient city in this world, but before they built the ancient city, they came from the first city. You see, when you enter the portal, you are greeted with structures that share much of the same architectural attributes, primarily large, elegant bridges and enormous deepslate pillars erected well above the player. There is also a large emphasis on soul energy in both the ancient city and the first city. Wardens, and even Skulk for that matter, appear to use Skulk energy in mass, as evident within the Skulk shriekers and the souls within the warden's chest. Within the first city, you can see soul lanterns lining the bridges. All of this is to say that it might not be unreasonable to assume that the deep dark within this world might have been released when the builders of the first city traveled to the overworld, and the ancient city serves as that initial portal from which these builders arrived. This is in contrast to the idea that people built the ancient city first, then activated the portal to the first city. But who were these people? I don't believe they were wardens, but potentially even missionaries sent on this quest to spread their skulky influence into the overworld. As such, the wardens might have simply been constructs created by these missionaries to guard the portal from which they came, and are the only ones that contain the key to open or close the gateway. We mentioned previously that there may have been missionaries sent to the overworld to spread their influence. If this is the case, someone surely had to send them, but who? Well, lucky for us, this is quite a simple answer. The primary antagonist of the mod, and given the title of Eternus Dimensional Devourer, with this written clearly in its introduction, it would make sense that it would send missionaries to spread their influence and thus the Skulk into the overworld. I wonder if the things we see within the Eye of Eternus are the scraps of dimensions it consumed long ago. We know for sure that Eternus is capable of mass destruction, as within the first city we will sometimes attempt to cross bridges that are then destroyed by enormous tentacles in front of our very eyes. These bridges may then be rebuilt using a Skulk, as we see this particular spiral bridge inside of the first city. Within the first city, it would appear that there are enormous walls where Skulk is creeping up and branching out to consume more of the first city. Some of the stone bricks we see are beginning to become infested by the Skulk, and it will not stop. This is why you, the player, are tasked with destroying the source of infection, being Eternus. There is only one weapon strong enough to destroy Eternus, and it's what's called the Doombreaker. The name may be as literal as it can get, as they're literally going to be breaking doom. In other words, saving your dimension from certain doom. Unfortunately, Eternus spots you trying to activate the weapon and quickly breaks the Doombreaker. So your only hope to break the doom using the Doombreaker is now broken by the doom. After this rather unfortunate scenario, you are now forcefully brought in the eye to be devoured by Eternus. However, by some miracle you are alive within the belly of the beast. Once you are within Eternus' eye, you are surrounded by 3 islands. The goal is to travel to each of the 3 islands and retrieve parts for the Doombreaker, so that you can destroy Eternus' core. The three main islands we see are an orange, almost geothermal island, a high-tech island, and a magic island with a boss. I believe these are previous dimensions in which Eternus has conquered. The first island you must travel to is Geothermal Island, with steam jets placed precariously for a player to ride all the way to the top of the island where you can retrieve the first part of the Doombreaker. However, you are not alone on this island, as you can see a variant of the ghast known as the Flare. This variant is much more demonic looking and contributes to the theory that this ghast is from an alternative dimension, as it acts much the same as a traditional ghast. Once recovered, your next island would be the Technology Island. Here, there are similar platforming techniques, but given a much more futuristic coat of paint. While you are launched from island to island within the superstructure of Technology Island, you have to fight off hordes of techno-arachnoids that hatch from eggs scattered across the islands. These are the eggs of the Beastles and Varus. As you can probably imagine, Beastles appear to be beetles and Varus are the shape of a bacteriophage, a type of viral particle that infects cells. It could be possible that the Varus were computer viruses within their initial home dimension, and now can only exist within the eye of Eternus. When a player receives the next piece of the Doombreaker, their final task is to go to the last island, one guarded by a fearsome mage. This crystal mage is surrounded by amethyst, adding more examples that amethyst is widely considered to be a magical resource in the world of Minecraft. The crystal mage defends the final piece of the Doombreaker with its life, as it can only be retrieved once the mage falls. But why? Why defend this being responsible for taking your world? For this, we can assume that given the magical properties of amethyst within the world of Minecraft, perhaps the island of the crystal mage keeps its magical properties by being within Eternus' eye. That, or is only looking after itself, and so long as its magic exists, the Doombreaker piece will remain in magical stasis. The differences between these three main islands is intriguing, as it brings up the question of why. Why are these the only three islands we see? Perhaps their themes play with the timeless nature of Eternus. With Geothermal Island, we catch a glimpse of the past where the world was scorching hot and intensely brutal. Volcanoes in our world shaped our past, and continue to shape our future. With Technology Island, we gaze into the future where the world is made up of light bridges and industry. Finally, with Magic Island, we view a world where magic exists. Perhaps a future further away than that of tech, or a time as relatively close as when we all believed magic and witches were real. We just don't know, but what we can say we know is that these themes were likely not chosen at random, and I hope that there was some thought that went into them. We finally have reached the end of our journey, and now it is time to fire the Doombreaker at Eternus, so that our world may be spared from the Devourer's tongue.
No, I think we're gonna have to kill that first, but there's no way to aim it.
Yes! Given the nature of the mod, I don't believe there was actually a story or any sort of narrative plan for this mod beyond the scope of what it currently offers. This mod was developed for $50,000 that the most popular YouTuber in the world commissioned for a video that was never released. However, here at Theory Crafters HQ, we believe in coming up with stories and narratives for things that might not have a clear-cut story or even one at all. We know that this video was quite a bit shorter than usual, and I apologize for that. I have been immensely busy with university and work. However, I hope that the next series will make up for in its story than this video did in its length. So what will that series be? The next series we're going to do will be an immense undertaking. We want to cover the world of an entire mod pack. This mod pack, of course, being integrated Minecraft by a very talented developer, Crazenlord. This series will cover everything from the ancient soul sanctums of the Nether to the eternal conflict between villagers and illagers, all the way to the end dimension and the fractured remnants of spacefaring civilizations of the past. Some mods that are included within this mod pack include Ice and Fire, Jaden's Nether expansion, Illage and Spillage, integrated dungeons and structures, integrated villages, and many, many more. If you are as excited for that series as I am, then be sure to like and subscribe. Wait, before you go, be sure to check out our last series on Cataclysm, our first series on Alex's Caves, and the latest Cooking with Piam.